everybody, this is Caroline here from craftycarolincreates.blogspot.co.uk. Thanks for pressing play on the video today. What I have for you is this lovely way of gifting, again, some handmade cards. If I open it up here, you will see that the ribbon undoes. And inside, the ribbon makes a really lovely way of keeping these gorgeous handmade cards inside the pocket. So there's 4 cards and their envelopes inside here. This is Cherry Cobbler and Whisper White. What I'm going to show you today is how to make the envelope and also how to do this gorgeous, what I think gorgeous technique on the front using one of my favourite stamp sets. This is Flower Shop and it's matching, it has a matching punch. I think when the new catalogue comes out, we often get excited about all the new products and forget some of our old favourites. I wanted to use this one, which I haven't used for a little while. And I think this effect is really beautiful, really elegant. And I also thought this would make quite a nice wedding invitation folder actually. So you could have the general invitation on this side, and then all of your, the bump you need to put in a wedding invitation these days could go in that side. So let's see how we made it. I'm just going to tie this one back up. So you can see it's really easy to tie up. The cards are standard UK A6, which is A4 cut in half and then folded in half. I think that roughly equates to US A2. So I pop that off to the side there. And we're going to start with a piece of A4 cardstock. If you're using US equivalent, that will work exactly. Just use the same measurements. It will just be a little bit longer in one dimension and a little bit shorter in the other, but it will still fit the cards. So we are going to score along the short side at 1 inch. Just going to come around the other side of my tripod. 1 inch and at 1 1/4 inch. So those two are quite close together. We're then going to turn it 90 degrees and we are going to score along the longer side just once, which is exactly in the middle, at 5 7/8 of an inch, which takes us to there. Okay, so what that will do is then you can see you can fold your cardstock in half simply like that. Okay, put that out of the way. I'm just going to use a scoring tool or a bone folder just to burnish those score lines. Now these ones are quite close, so just be careful when you do these that you get crisp folds along the bottom here. Okay. Okay. You can see how it's going to come together pretty quickly. So what we are going to do is firstly cut up this centre score line. Oh, I can grab my scissors to the top, to the second score line like that. And then we are just going to notch that out. Now what I find, if you just notch it out on one side, now you can measure it, but again, I like speedy crafting. And then if you just fold it over, you can follow the score line, follow your cut line, and you'll get those two to be identical. I'm just going to do this on this side. I'm just going to do both sides at the same time. So my Stampin' Up scissors can cut through those. Okay, so we just put chamfers on either side so that when that folds up, you can see it makes that really nice little ducket for your cards to go into. Okay, I'm just going to unfold that, and what we're going to do is punch our holes, which our ribbon goes through. You can see that. I'm using the smallest hole punch Stampin' Up doing this dot punch, which is the 1/2 inch hole punch. And again, I'm just going to do it by eye, roughly in the middle, and probably roughly about 1/2 inch in. Okay, just going to stamp that out. The punch will go through the 2 layers of the cardstock, no problem. And then I'm just going to do the same on the other side. So again, the same height and about the same distance in. Okay, you can of course measure this to get this accurate. Punch that out, and those are our 2 holes ready to feed our ribbon through. So the ribbon I'm using is the same one that I used on my example, and that is this gorgeous Whisper White satin ribbon from Stampin' Up. I'm not sure you can see. This has a lovely reflective quality. This is really growing on me actually. I'm getting quite low. I have ordered some more, luckily. Okay, And then to thread our ribbon effectively through, so we want to go in this first hole, out of the middle, okay, pull a bit more through, back into the card through the second hole, like that, and then again out through the last hole there, okay. Just straighten those out, twist them so that they are straight, okay. All that's left now for us to do is to decorate the front of a card folder. This one is in Cherry Cobbler, and this is gorgeous Night of Navy, which was my wedding colour, which was my wedding stationery colour. So I sort of got a bit overloaded doing a lot of Night of Navy stuff when I was getting married. So I haven't used it for a long time, but got it out today and I really remembered how gorgeous it is. It's such a lovely midnight blue colour. So to make the front, we need 2 pieces of cardstock, one in Whisper White that measures 4 inches by 7 inches. If you are using US cardstock, you will need to make them a little bit longer. I think it's half an inch, quarter of an inch longer, but basically needs to be as long as the file folder to that bottom score line is, okay? And the Night of Navy is 7 inches of the same height, but it's just a quarter of an inch shorter. So this is 3 3/4 of an inch, okay? Now to get this gorgeous pattern on the front, we are going to use this lovely flower from the Flower Shop set. We are going to stamp this a few times onto some scrap Whisper White cardstock. This is a really gorgeous, gorgeous stamp. Okay, so just going to stamp that along on my piece of Whisper White. You need quite a few of these. I'm just going to do 4 for now. And then I'm going to bring in the matching pansy punch, which will allow me to punch out these flowers perfectly. Okay. Okay, there we go. And then what we need to do is, I've already started on this piece of Night of Navy, is to stick these down randomly on top of the Night of Navy cardstock. So I'm just going to use some Tombow liquid glue. Hopefully it will come out. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to put some glue on the back of those a little bit, and then I'm just going to stick these down onto my cardstock now. It doesn't matter if they overlap the edge a little bit. In fact, you want them to overlap the edge a bit so that when you come to cut them out, you get this lovely look of a sort of a designer series paper that we are going for. So those two will do perfectly there. What you can see is this one is overlapping a little bit and this one at the top. So just flick the cardstock over, grab your scissors, and you just want to trim off those excess bits of card, bits of flower that are sticking over the edge. Okay, then all that's left to do is to layer up. Just going to use some Tombow. There we go. Is to layer this up onto the white cardstock. So again, I'm just going to do it by eye. I'm using Tombow because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room to get that centered like that onto our piece of Whisper White. How lovely is this Night of Navy colour? Rediscovered an old favourite. And then it's going to go onto the front of our card envelope, wallet, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Again, I'm going to use some Tombow for that little bit of wiggle factor. Just going to line the base up with that bottom score line and then centre this on the front of the wallet. So I've lined that up to the score line there. Okay, how nice is that? Okay, and then all that is left to do is to bring in the matching cards that I made earlier. So the cards use exactly the same technique with that punch flower on a mat of Night of Navy, which is matted on Whisper White. So I have 2 of those for each side. One there with 2 matching envelopes. You could of course always decorate these envelopes, that would look nice. Fold up the base piece. And again on this side. And that ribbon together with the base fold will just nicely hold those into the folder. Fold that over. Tie it up in a little bow. This is really great. If you struggle with ribbon and tying bows, this ribbon is really great for tying bows. It's really easy. And even somebody like me, who's not necessarily a good bow tire, finds it very easy. So we just need to trim the tails of our ribbon there. 1, 2, and voila, how simple was that? But how gorgeous do they look? Thanks for watching. If I can help with any Stampin' Up products or you have any questions at all, just get in touch. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.